Today, boys and girls, we're going to make a very simple landscape in Google Drawing. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my background. So I'm going to go to Shape, Shape again, and once again, I'm going to get my rectangle shape. I'm going to click and drag it out so it fills the entire canvas. And this time for the fill color, I'm actually going to change it from a solid color to what's called a gradient. A gradient means that it'll go from light to dark, either as a line or as a point in the middle to going outward. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get this dark cornflower blue radial gradient. So it's this bottom blue that's right next to the green. I'm going to click on that, and that changes my color to this blue that's a little bit lighter in the middle to something that's a little bit darker on the outside, which is exactly what I want. Now I'm going to go back to my shape. I'm going to get another rectangle. And this time I'm going to make my rectangle almost halfway this point. So now I'm going to make sure it's at least, or try to make it halfway. Even if it's not, do your best to get it as close as possible. Once again, I'm going to change my fill color to a gradient. This time I want this dark green linear gradient. So it's right below the two light greens. So I want this first dark green right here. I'm going to click on that. And there is what's going to be my grass right now. Now I want to make the road. So I'm going to go to Shape. I'm going to go to Shape again. I'm actually going to get this trapezoid shape right here. So I'm going to get the trapezoid and I'm going to bring it in just like that. So I want it to be towards the middle and the bottom of my canvas. Kind of think of it when we did our little cityscapes, boys and girls. Now, right now I'm actually going to zoom in on this because I want everyone to see this. Right there is that little diamond, and that's actually going to help me make the top of this a little bit more narrow. So I'm actually going to make sure my mouse is over it. I'm going to click it and I'm going to go inward. And if you notice, the top is getting like more to a point. I don't want it too pointy, but I don't want to not have it, too wide. So now if I go back to fit, look at the difference now. So there is my road. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go back to my gradient. I actually want one of these top gray gradients. I'm going to actually click on this light one right here. So it's a little bit lighter at the top and darker at the bottom, and that's exactly what I want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of mountains, and that's going to be easy enough to do by just making some triangles. So I'm going to go to Shape. I'm going to go to my triangles. Maybe I do a couple big ones first. So I'm actually just going to start with one because remember I can duplicate this. And I'm going to go to Gradient, and I'm going to get like a darker gradient for this. And I'm going to go to Edit and duplicate it. Remember, we talked about duplicating, boys and girls. And I'm going to make 4 of them. And maybe if I want to make another one, I'm going to actually duplicate it, but now I'm going to make it a little bit smaller in between these two. So now I'm going to bring it down. And if I make a smaller one, I actually want to make this even darker. Just like that. So there are my mountains. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sun in the middle, but I'm going to kind of make it look like it's a sunset. So I'm actually going to first start not with my sun shape. I'm going to do that in a little bit. I'm going to start with a circle shape right there in the middle. And I'm going to make this pretty big, not so big, but decently big enough that it fits in the middle of my mountains. Just like that. Now I'm going to change the border color. I'm going to change it to a dark red. And I'm going to go to the gradient, and I'm going to get this light radial red right here, like this one that kind of looks like a circle. Light red radial gradient. And that's what I get. Now I'm going to make another circle inside. And I'm going to make sure that it fits inside this first circle. And I'm going to change the border to a darker orange. And I'm going to change the fill color to light orange to radial gradient. So we're doing a lot of gradients today. So this is what it looks like right now for my sunset, which is pretty nice. Now I'm going to add in the sun. And I'm going to put that right in the middle. And remember, you can use your arrow keys to help you get the placement of the sun right. Now I'm going to change the border color to a dark yellow. And I'm going to change the fill color in gradient to this yellow right here, which is light yellow radial gradient. And there is my lovely sunset between the mountains.